Loneliness is often seen as something negative, something to escape or fix, but what if it's also shaping you in ways most people never realize? What if the quiet moments, the isolation, and the feeling of being alone are not just painful experiences but the foundation of hidden strengths you carry every day? Because psychology shows that loneliness doesn't just affect how you feel, it changes how you think, how you see the world, and even who you become over time. So if you've experienced deep loneliness, here are some hidden traits you may have developed that are more powerful than they seem. You have a deeper sense of self, because research indicates that people who spend more time alone tend to develop stronger self-reflection and identity awareness, and when you don't always have others around to distract you, you naturally turn inward and start asking questions like, who am I really? Or, what do I actually want? While others rely on constant noise or validation, you've learned to sit with your own thoughts, and that builds clarity, meaning you're not just influenced by the world but you understand your place in it. So if you felt alone for long periods, it's not just emptiness, it's also where your self-understanding was built. You're highly emotionally aware, because loneliness often forces you to face your emotions directly with no one to hide behind and no quick escape from what you feel. And while that can be uncomfortable, psychology shows that facing emotions directly can increase emotional intelligence. For example, you may have spent nights overthinking and trying to understand why you feel a certain way, and that process, even though it feels heavy, is actually emotional processing. You've learned how to recognize sadness, frustration, and even subtle feelings others ignore, and over time that awareness gives you an advantage because you don't just feel emotions, you understand them. You value real connections more than most, because research suggests that people who have experienced loneliness develop a stronger appreciation for meaningful relationships, and since you know what it feels like to be disconnected, you don't take connection lightly. You don't chase surface-level conversations but look for depth, honesty, and real understanding. So when you finally find someone who truly listens or understands you, it means more than it would to someone who has never felt alone. And that makes your relationship stronger because you don't just connect, you invest. So your loneliness didn't make you distant, it made you selective in a healthy way. You've developed quiet resilience, because being alone for long periods can be difficult, but surviving it changes you, and psychology shows that going through emotional challenges alone can build inner strength and resilience, because at some point you had no choice but to rely on yourself and find ways to keep going even when no one noticed, whether it was getting through tough days silently or motivating yourself when no one else did. And while it may not feel like strength, it is, because you've learned how to stand on your own, and that kind of resilience stays with you for life. You have a rich inner world, because when the outside world feels distant, your inner world grows stronger, and research indicates that solitude can enhance creativity, imagination, and deep thinking. So you may spend time imagining scenarios, reflecting on life, or creating ideas in your mind. And what feels like isolation to others becomes exploration for you, because you think deeply, notice details, and see meaning where others don't, and that depth often leads to creativity, insight, and unique perspectives. So if you felt alone, it doesn't mean your world is small, it means your inner world is vast. Now here's something important to understand: loneliness isn't something to romanticize. It can be painful and no one should have to feel completely alone, but it's also not something that only takes from you, it shapes you quietly and deeply over time, building parts of you that others may never develop. So if you've gone through loneliness, don't just see it as something you survived, see it as something that changed you and gave you depth, awareness, strength, and perspective. So take a moment and reflect on which of these traits you see in yourself, because sometimes the parts of you question the most are actually your greatest strengths. And if this helped you understand yourself a little better, subscribe for more psychology insights like this, because the more you understand your mind, the more control you gain over your life.